Germany, a land where myth dances with modernity, where ancient stone castles whisper stories from the pages of Grimm's fairy tales, and rivers flow past villages that look like time stood still. But this is not just the land of poets and philosophers. It's the birthplace of innovation, the stage of revolutions, and the heart of Europe's most defining chapters. From Berlin's graffiti walls to Bavaria's snow-kissed Alps, from enchanted forests to high-tech cities humming with purpose. Welcome to a journey across the soul of Germany. This is Wonders of Germany, a cinematic odyssey through culture, nature, history, and everything in between. Let's begin. Once divided, now defiant, Berlin isn't just a city, it's a symbol. A city that wears its scars like medals, with bullet-pocked facades and art-covered walls, telling stories no textbook ever could. At the Brandenburg Gate, once blocked by barbed wire, now stand tourists and dreamers, united in freedom. And beneath the surface, entire bunkers and Cold War relics lie hidden, a city built on layers of history. Checkpoint Charlie, the Holocaust Memorial, the Reichstag Dome. Each landmark holds memories of a nation fractured and reborn. Yet Berlin doesn't dwell in the past, it pulses with progress. In Kreuzberg, Turkish markets meet vegan cafes. In Mitte, vintage bookstores share blocks with tech startups. This is Germany's creative capital, a little chaotic, raw, but always electric. Berlin has more bridges than Venice, over 1,700 of them, and has more than 180 museums, earning it the nickname, the museum capital of the world. After the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989, the city was officially reunified in 1990. Since then, Berlin has become one of Europe's leading cultural capitals, famous for its inclusivity, art scenes, and political transparency. From the walls that once divided a city, we now cross bridges built by kings into manicured gardens, royal palaces, and Baroque dreams. Welcome to Potsdam. Just 40 minutes from the buzz of Berlin lies a different world, a place of poets, kings, and dreamers. This here is Potsdam, a city where Prussian royalty once escaped the politics of Berlin and built their vision of paradise in marble, water, and wide open sky. At its heart stands Sanssouci Palace, meaning without worries. It was the summer refuge of Frederick the Great, who sketched out his dream retreat atop a vineyard slope. Here, Rococo architecture blossoms like a painting, and the terraced gardens roll out like a green carpet. But that's just the beginning. Potsdam is home to over a dozen palaces and sprawling parks. The Neues Palais is a Baroque masterpiece built to impress. The Sicilienhof Palace, with its Tudor-style charm, is where Truman, Churchill, and Stalin once met to decide the future of a war-torn world, the famous Potsdam Conference of 1945. Beyond its royal splendor, Potsdam holds secrets of spies. The Glienicke Bridge, also known as the Bridge of Spies, was the checkpoint for Cold War prisoner exchanges, where East met West in silence and shadow. Potsdam's palaces and parks are a UNESCO World Heritage Site and are among the largest and most beautifully preserved ensembles of royal architecture in Europe. Sanssouci's gardens stretch for over 300 hectares, filled with orangeries, temples, Chinese tea houses, and even a windmill. We now head to a place where stories feel like they've been plucked straight out of a dream. If fairy tales had a postal address, this would be it. Perched high on a hill in the Bavarian Alps, Neuschwanstein Castle looks like it leapt out of a fantasy. Built by the enigmatic King Ludwig II, often called the Mad King, this was never meant for defense. It was meant for dreams, a tribute to medieval romanticism, to Wagner's operas, and to Ludwig's lonely imagination. Ironically, the king never saw it completed, but Disney did. Walt Disney was so inspired by this castle that it became the blueprint for Sleeping Beauty's palace. Inside, a golden throne room with no throne, a cave built indoors, and a chandelier shaped like a crown. Neuschwanstein isn't just architecture, it's the embodiment of a man's grand vision for a kingdom of the mind. Neuschwanstein receives over 1.4 million visitors each year, but King Ludwig barely lived here for 172 days before his mysterious death. From royal dreams to timeless traditions, let's head to Munich, the city where beer meets brass bands and centuries-old charm. Munich, a city where tradition clinks glasses with modernity. Here, Baroque cathedrals rise beside sleek BMWs, and centuries-old breweries sit across from avant-garde art museums. This is the capital of Bavaria, Germany's most culturally distinct region, where identity is proudly worn, quite literally, in lederhosen and dirndls. At Marienplatz, the Glockenspiel tells old tales as crowds gaze upward, time traveling for a few short minutes. But in late September, the city transforms. It's Oktoberfest, where over 6 million people gather not just for beer, but for belonging. It's a celebration of culture, of camaraderie, of clinking mugs beneath tents bursting with music and laughter. And just a bike ride away, the English Garden flows like a green river through the city, serene until you reach the Eisbach. Yes, surfing. In the middle of the city, on a man-made wave, Munich's Hofbräuhaus dates back to 1589, originally brewed for royalty only. Today, everyone's royalty with a stein in hand. From city symphonies to alpine serenity, it's time to rise into the clouds, where Germany meets the sky. At the southern edge of Germany, the land lifts, sharply, dramatically, into the rugged majesty of the Bavarian Alps. Here lies ZUGSPITZE, Germany's tallest peak, touching the sky at nearly 10,000 feet. It's a place where the air is thinner, but the experience? Unforgettable. You can ski here in spring, sip hot cocoa at an altitude cafe, or stand at the border and look into Austria, just a few snowy footsteps away. But the Alps are more than slopes and summits. They are where quiet villages hide under timbered roofs, where alpine horns echo through valleys, and where the soul of southern Germany finds its rhythm, in peace, in nature, in stillness. This is the Germany few expect, but all remember. On clear days, you can see 4 countries from ZUGSPITZE: Germany, Austria, Italy, and Switzerland. From sky to shadows, let's wander deeper into a legendary forest, where myths are born beneath canopies of green. Imagine a forest so dense, so deep, it inspired tales of witches, wolves, and mysterious cottages. Welcome to the Schwarzwald, the Black Forest, named not for its danger, but for its thick pine canopy that lets in little light. This is where the Brothers Grimm found inspiration, and maybe a few goosebumps. But beyond the folklore, the Black Forest is a treasure trove of traditions. Here, woodcarvers still shape cuckoo clocks by hand. Farmhouses wear slanted roofs like sleepy hats, and time moves a little slower. In Triberg, waterfalls tumble beside hiking trails, and in Baden-Baden, ancient Roman baths still soothe the modern traveler. It's a region where every trail feels like a story waiting to unfold. The world's largest cuckoo clock is in the Black Forest. And yes, it works. As legends whisper behind the trees, we follow the flow of a mighty river to a valley that shaped history, culture, and even wine. Winding like a silver ribbon through western Germany, the Rhine River isn't just water. It's legend in motion, steeped in myth, lined with vineyards and crowned by crumbling castles. It's one of Europe's most romantic landscapes. From the Lorelei Rock, where sirens were said to lure sailors to their doom, to the medieval fortresses that dot nearly every bend, the Rhine Valley is pure storybook magic. But just beyond the river lies one of Germany's most beloved cities, Heidelberg, a city of poets, philosophers, and the country's oldest university. Its red-roofed skyline is dominated by the majestic Heidelberg Castle, part ruin, part fairy tale, with sweeping views of the Neckar River. And in its cobbled alleys and cafe corners, students and travelers mingle in a city that feels forever young. Heidelberg was one of the few major German cities spared from Allied bombing in World War II, preserving its old-world charm. From romance and ruins, we head to a city whose skyline is ruled by one of the most awe-inspiring structures ever built. Cologne, or Köln, is a city of contrasts, Roman foundations beneath modern streets, ancient churches beside edgy street art. But nothing defines this city more than its crown jewel, the Cologne Cathedral. Rising nearly 160 meters into the sky, it took over 600 years to build, and just moments to take your breath away. It's the most visited landmark in Germany, and once you stand before it, you'll understand why. Inside, stained glass windows tell stories centuries old, and the air carries the weight of quiet reverence. Outside, a city full of life, from its lively Christmas markets and Kölsch beer halls to quirky museums like the Chocolate Museum and the oddly mesmerizing Museum of Perfume. Cologne is a city that honors its past but lives vibrantly in the now. During World War II, Allied bombers destroyed much of Cologne, but the cathedral miraculously survived, even after 14 direct hits. Now we set our compass north, to Germany's maritime heart, where canals outnumber streets. Hamburg is Germany's port to the world, a city defined by water, ships, and unstoppable energy. It's home to Europe's second-largest port, but also something far more poetic. A blend of Gothic warehouses, cutting-edge architecture, and neighborhoods stitched together by over 2,500 bridges, more than Amsterdam and Venice combined. The Elbphilharmonie, an architectural masterpiece that floats like a glass wave above the city, has redefined Hamburg's skyline and soul. Down in Speicherstadt, the world's largest warehouse district, you'll find narrow canals, brick fortresses, and the scent of coffee, spices, and thyme. And by night, Reeperbahn pulses with electric chaos, Hamburg's red light district and one-time stomping ground of a young band called the Beatles. The Beatles played over 270 shows in Hamburg before they were ever famous. As we drift from sea to stone, let's head east, to a city shattered by war, but reborn in beauty. They once called it the Florence of the North. And then in 1945, fire fell from the sky. Dresden was nearly erased by Allied bombings during World War II. Its art, its people, its very soul buried in rubble. But like a phoenix, it rose. Today, Dresden stands as a powerful testament to restoration and resilience. The Frauenkirche, once a heap of stones, has been painstakingly rebuilt, stone by numbered stone, using original fragments. The Zwinger Palace, Semper Opera House, and royal residences once again echo with music, laughter, and light. And along the Elbe, Baroque beauty blends with a new, young energy. Art students sketching on park benches, cafes buzzing under Renaissance domes. Over 3,800 original stones were salvaged and used in reconstructing the Frauenkirche. Darker than the rest, they form a visual scar in its golden facade. From a city that rose from ashes, we journey deeper into Germany's past, into walled towns frozen in time. Step into Rothenburg ob der Tauber, a town where time stopped ticking somewhere in the 1600s. Perched on a hill above the Tauber River, this medieval jewel is one of the best preserved walled towns in Europe. Its narrow cobbled streets curl like a maze, its buildings tilt with timbered charm, and every doorway feels like a portal to the past. Tourists may arrive by the thousands, but the town never loses its spell. And as dust settles, a cloaked night watchman emerges, torch in hand, guiding visitors through tales of plague, fire, and forgotten kings. You're not just walking through a town, you're walking through history. Rothenburg was partially destroyed during World War II, but saved by a U.S. officer who admired its beauty so much that he negotiated a peaceful surrender to prevent total destruction. Rothenburg is home to the Käthe Wohlfahrt Christmas Museum, and you can experience the magic of Christmas here every single day of the year. From cobbled calm to imperial power, just down the Autobahn, a city where empires were crowned and justice was served. Nuremberg is a city of paradoxes, the seat of emperors, the site of rallies, and the courtroom of reckoning. In the Middle Ages, it was a jewel of the Holy Roman Empire, crowned with an imperial castle that still watches over the city. Its craftsmen were renowned. Its artists, like Albrecht Dürer, changed the course of European art. But the 20th century cast a long shadow when the Nazis made Nuremberg a stage for propaganda. After the war, it became a stage again, this time for justice. The Nuremberg trials marked the beginning of international criminal law, where leaders were held accountable and the world said, never again. The Palace of Justice in Nuremberg still hosts Courtroom 600, where the trials took place. It's now a museum open to the public. Nuremberg's famous sausages, Nürnberger Rostbratwürste, are protected by EU law. They must be made in Nuremberg and measure no longer than 9 centimeters. Now, from justice to genius, we travel to a city shaped by sound, soul, and silent revolutions. In Leipzig, music isn't just played, it's lived. This is where Johann Sebastian Bach composed some of the world's most profound music, echoing through St. Thomas Church even today. But Leipzig isn't just about harmony, it's about history. In 1989, peaceful protests in its churches and streets sparked the fall of the Berlin Wall. No weapons, no bloodshed, just voices and candles. It was called the Monday Demonstrations, and it helped bring down an empire. Today, the city hums with youthful energy, universities, art collectives, street performers, and jazz spilling out of hidden clubs. It's the beating heart of East Germany, a place where the past is proud and the future plays on. Leipzig has been called Leipzig in recent years due to its rapid cultural and creative boom, especially among artists and startups. The Monument to the Battle of the Nations is one of Europe's largest war memorials, built to commemorate Napoleon's defeat in 1813. Now, we ascend into mystery, to a region of witches, fog, and forgotten folklore, the wild soul of central Germany. Germany has forests, but none quite like the Harz, dark, enchanting, and steeped in sorcery. This is the land of the Brocken, the highest peak in northern Germany, where legends say witches gather every April 30th for Walpurgis night. They dance, they fly, they whisper spells into the mist. Even Goethe was bewitched. His Faust climbed this very peak in search of the devil. But the Harz isn't all shadows. It's charming towns like Quedlinburg and Wernigerode, where fairy tales feel real. It's steam trains snaking through the forest and hikers tracing trails older than kingdoms. The Brockenbahn is a historic narrow-gauge railway that takes visitors to the summit, offering views into both German history and folklore. Walpurgis Night, still celebrated today, is a lively mix of Halloween, carnival, and folk traditions, complete with bonfires, costumes, and music in the woods. Now let's descend from myths into a city that once divided a nation, then reunited a world. In the far east of Germany, nature carves its own kingdom. Welcome to Saxon Switzerland National Park, where gravity-defying cliffs, hidden valleys, and winding rivers create one of the most surreal landscapes in Europe. The jewel of the region? The Basti Bridge, a man-made marvel connecting jagged sandstone peaks suspended in the sky. Originally built of wood in 1824 and rebuilt in stone in 1851, the bridge offers views straight out of a fantasy novel, especially at sunrise, when the morning mist weaves between the rocks like a living creature. Below, the Elbe River slithers through the gorges, reflecting the sky like a mirror. And above, hikers, climbers, and wanderers stand on cliffs once used as fortresses, castles, and lookout posts during medieval wars. One such relic is Königstein Fortress. Perched atop a mesa, it's one of the largest hilltop fortifications in Europe. For centuries, it was considered impenetrable. Today, it's open to those who dare to walk the past. Despite its name, Saxon Switzerland isn't in Switzerland. It was named in the 18th century by Swiss artists who were reminded of their homeland. The national park is home to over 1,100 climbing peaks, and the region has a strict rule. No metal climbing gear allowed, only traditional rope and handholds in harmony with nature. Now from mountaintop mystique, we descend to the Baltic breeze, to an island where chalk-white cliffs meet royal beaches and coastal serenity. On the northern edge of Germany, where land meets the Baltic Sea, lies Rügen, an island born of wind, water, and wonder. It's a place of contrasts, steep chalk cliffs and flat sandy beaches, silent forests and seaside resorts. But above all, it's peaceful. The Königstuhl, or King's Chair, is the island's crown jewel. a brilliant white cliff rising nearly 400 feet from the sea, part of the Yasmin National Park. It's said that ancient Slavic rulers once held court here, and poets like Caspar David Friedrich found their muse on this very bluff. Travel inland, and you'll find fairy tale villages with thatched roofs, vintage lighthouses guarding the coast, and the nostalgic Resender Roland, a steam train that still puffs across the island like a moving postcard from the past. And then there's Selen Pier, Germany's most iconic pier, stretching into the sea like a bridge between old-world elegance and coastal joy. Rügen is Germany's largest island and has been a favored vacation spot since the 19th century, especially for nobility. The island is home to over 60 beaches, some with chalk sand so bright it glows under moonlight. Stretching over 350 kilometers from Würzburg to Füssen, the Romantic Road is Germany's most beloved scenic route, a winding thread through fairy tale towns, medieval walls, and landscapes that seem frozen in time. Each village and city along this road is a living postcard of history, culture, and timeless charm. Take Rothenburg ob der Tauber, a perfectly preserved medieval town where cobblestones echo with footsteps from centuries past. Here, the towers and walls create a living fortress, and every corner feels like a scene from a storybook. The town's famous Christmas market turns it into a winter wonderland, even in the middle of summer. Farther south, vineyards roll gently near Würzburg, where the residence palace dazzles with Baroque splendor. The Romantic Road invites travelers to slow down, breathe deeply, and step inside history's embrace. The Romantic Road was established as a tourist route in the 1950s to showcase southern Germany's picturesque towns and castles. Rothenburg's medieval night watchman still leads tours at night, sharing tales of the town's past, just like centuries ago. But the Romantic Road isn't the only story. Bavaria's soul is found in its hidden gems. Now we visit a UNESCO treasure that bridges history and heritage. Nestled along the winding Regnitz River, Bamberg is a Baroque masterpiece often called Franconian Rome for its 7 hills and stunning architecture. The town's centerpiece, the Altes Rathaus or Old Town Hall, stands proudly on a bridge over the river, a unique sight blending water and stone. Bamberg is not just about beauty. It's a city of tradition, famed for its smoked beer, Rauchbier, a brew with a distinctive smoky flavor crafted in local breweries for centuries. The medieval streets invite slow wandering, while grand cathedrals and churches whisper stories of faith and art. UNESCO has recognized Bamberg's Old Town as a World Heritage Site, a testament to its cultural and architectural significance. Bamberg's historic center survived World War II largely intact, preserving its medieval and Baroque character. Bamberg has over 50 breweries and beer gardens, more per capita than any other city in the world. Step into Lübeck, the historic heart of the Hanseatic League, the powerful medieval trading alliance that shaped Northern Europe's economy and culture. Lübeck's skyline is dominated by the Holsten Tor, a striking city gate that has become a symbol of the city's resilience and heritage. Walk through narrow streets lined with red brick Gothic architecture, where centuries-old merchant houses tell stories of wealth and craftsmanship. Lübeck is also famous for its sweet treat, marzipan, a delicacy that has delighted visitors since the Middle Ages. The city's harbor once bustled with ships carrying goods across the Baltic and beyond, making Lübeck a vibrant trading powerhouse. Today, its blend of history, culture, and seaside charm invites travelers to explore a living museum by the water. Lübeck's Old Town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized for its exceptional medieval architecture. The Holsten Tor's walls are over 2 meters thick, designed to defend the city against invaders. From Lübeck's merchant legacy, we sail westward to Bremen, a city where fairy tales and maritime pride converge. Bremen is a city of legends and lively streets, known far and wide as the home of the Bremen town musicians, a beloved Brothers Grimm fairy tale brought to life in bronze. Its market square is dominated by the imposing Roland statue, symbolizing the city's freedom and independence, while the ornate town hall showcases Gothic and Renaissance grandeur. Wander the Schnorr district, Bremen's oldest neighborhood, where narrow lanes twist through charming houses, craft shops, and cafes. Bremen's maritime history is alive in its bustling port, connecting northern Germany to the world. This city blends history, art, and culture into a lively mix that charms locals and visitors alike. Bremen was a member of the Hanseatic League and remains a city-state within Germany. The Bremen Town Musician statue was erected in 1953 and is one of the city's most famous landmarks. From Bremen's fairytale streets, we journey south to Hanover, a city of gardens, fairs, and modern flair. Hanover, the capital of Lower Saxony, is a city where nature and innovation bloom side by side. The Herrenhausen Gardens are a masterpiece of Baroque landscaping, fountains, statues, and symmetrical designs, inviting visitors to stroll through living art. Hanover is also known for hosting world-class fairs and expos, from technology to industry, drawing innovators and visionaries from across the globe. Maschsee, an artificial lake, is a favorite spot for recreation. Sailboats, jogging paths, and festivals create a vibrant community atmosphere. A city that honors its heritage while embracing the future, Hanover is a perfect blend of culture, science, and green space. The Herrenhausen Gardens date back to the 17th century and were restored after damage in World War II. Hanover hosts the world's largest computer and technology fair, CeBIT, bringing global tech leaders to the city. From soaring castles and alpine peaks to vibrant cities and winding rivers, Germany's wonders are as diverse as its history is rich. Thank you for joining us on this unforgettable journey. Until next time, keep exploring.